Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all well. This is Lifestyle Critic, where we break down movies and TV shows into their core elements. And in this video we are going to be reviewing Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is the second Disney Plus TV series based in the Marvel Cinematic Universe after WandaVision. And this time it puts Falcon and the Winter Soldier in the forefront. It's very politically charged, and as such I didn't enjoy it as much as I enjoyed WandaVision, but that being said, you can't deny the fact that this is a very powerful show. It's got excellent social commentary and absolutely brilliant character transformations. Pretty much all of the characters go on excellent journeys and are very different from where they are in the beginning of the series to where they are transformed by the end of the series, and I'm going to be breaking it all down for you in this TV series review. So from a storyline point of view, Falcon and the Winter Soldier is set 6 months after the events in Endgame, where Old Man Cap handed the shield over to Falcon, and I'm really glad that you can see the Steve Rogers' character's presence still being felt in this series. Obviously he doesn't make an actual appearance, but the ghost of Steve Rogers has definitely felt the actions that he did, and whether or not people can live up to his reputation is definitely looming throughout this series across loads of different characters, which I thought was really great. But there are 5 main storyline strands that I wanted to talk about. The first one is the journey of the Falcon character, and I thought this was super interesting, as in the beginning he just doesn't believe in himself in the way that he should do and in the way that he does do by the end of the series, and really does see the shield as a bit of a burden. And I really like the fact that you can also see the family man aspect to the Sam Wilson character. You saw a little bit of this with Tony Stark and seeing his family while in Endgame, but you really got to see a lot of what it's like to be the Sam Wilson character and what it's like to be a superhero and a family man at the same time. Next up we have the new Captain America making a big presence for himself after Falcon gave up the shield, and I just thought this was an absolutely brilliant positioning piece, as you can definitely see the impact of Sam Wilson giving up the shield on both the Falcon character and the Winter Soldier character. And I just thought it's typical America as well, giving another blonde-haired, blue-eyed person the role of Captain America. And he was instantly beloved and thought that he can do no wrong, thinking that he's above the law, which totally backfired on him in a spectacular way throughout the rest of this season. Next up we have the Flag Smashers, who were the big radical group in this series and definitely had a big presence for all of the different characters as well. They wanted to return the world pre-blip, before everyone made their return, and they want to kind of reduce and destroy all radicalism, one world, no flags, which is why they're called Flag Smashers. But obviously the series was showing that having such destructive ways is going to backfire on them as well. We then have the Power Broker storyline. There was a bit of a question mark in terms of who is the Power Broker, but it was just so obvious that it was the Sharon Carter character. And then finally we have the Thunderbolts / the Dark Avengers being set up in this series as well. At the end of this video I'll do my predictions about what's going to happen in Captain America 4, but as far as the storylines goes for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they were absolutely compelling. So from a cast and characters point of view, like I said, all of the characters went on such brilliant journeys across the 6-episode arc in this series, so let's break them down one by one. So first up we have Anthony Mackie, who was brilliantly bringing to life the Sam Wilson character, the Falcon character, and ultimately the Captain America character. Like I said, really interesting in terms of, in the beginning he sees the shield as being a bit of a burden, but then by the end of the series he realizes his self-worth. And I just thought that journey was super interesting. He was questioning whether or not he can actually live up to the role that Steve Rogers placed upon him, and also as a black man, can he represent a country that doesn't represent him? And then this was even further layered when he found out the truth about what the country did to the Isaiah character. But by the end of the show, the brilliant speech that he was giving was just so powerful, in terms of you really need to listen to everybody, as if you don't, people are going to rebel against you, and the fact that there are multiple ways of doing things and you should always do the right thing. So I just feel like he is such a brilliant person to choose to be the next mantle for Captain America, and I cannot wait to see what's going to happen next for this character in Captain America 4. Next up we have Sebastian Stan, who is back as Bucky / the Winter Soldier, and I really liked his arc in terms of, in the beginning he's suffering from PTSD after all of the wars that he's been in. Pretty much for 100 years he's been in non-stop wars, being mind controlled, and he's now suffering from all of that and is trying to move past all of it. So across the 6 episodes it's about his redemption arc storyline and unburdening himself from all of the weight that he's been carrying. Obviously the brilliant buddy cop action sequences between him and the Sam Wilson character was absolutely legendary. And also similarly, it's about him finding out his self-worth as well, so that he can live up to the reputation that Steve Rogers left on him as well. Next up we have Wyatt Russell, who plays the very complicated John Walker character / Captain America / US agent and ex-US Army man that is chosen to be the next Captain America. He does whatever the government asks him to do, and he really does let the power, privilege and position get to his head. And I really thought it was interesting how the shield is representing different things for different characters. So for Sam Wilson and for Bucky, it's a sign of hope, whereas for the John Walker character, it's all about power and position, at least in the beginning. But then his actions of brutality really does come back to haunt him as he is then rejected of his role as Captain America. So I thought his arc was really, really interesting. On top of the fact that he was always just trying to be accepted by the Bucky character and by the Falcon character, and also he is then transformed into the black-wearing US agent, the somewhat corrupt anti-hero, which is going to be really interesting to see what's going to happen next with this character. Next up we have Daniel Bruhl. He was back as the Baron Zemo character. He was always a very calculating and a bit of a mastermind type character. I really liked the triple act that they had when he was partnering up with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You were expecting him to be a bit of a villainous character, but actually he was working with the duo. But like I said, you always knew that he had his own plans going on in the background. Hopefully in the future we'll see him leading the Thunderbolts. In the comics, the Thunderbolts then do revolt against him, and US Agent then leads them. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next with this character. And I just thought it was absolutely hilarious how he became an internet meme with the Zemo character dancing. That was absolutely brilliant. Next up we have Emily Van Camp, who is back as a Sharon Carter character. Literally the worst kept secret that she was actually going to be the power broker. And like I said, they go on really interesting character journeys in this series, and the Sharon Carter character was no different, as the last time we saw her, she was on the run after Civil War, and now we found out that she went down a bit of a dark path and then became the power broker. And it's really interesting as the post-credit scene shows that she got her role back in the SHIELD operative, but this time she's going to be a bit like Hydra, as she's going to be an evil spy within that group. Next up we have Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who is playing the Valentina character. You didn't really see her that much, just a couple of appearances in the final few episodes, a bit of a darker version of the Nick Fury character she is creating, the Thunderbolts / the Dark Avengers, and actually she was brilliantly hilarious in certain sequences, and I think you can definitely tell that she knew that Baron Zemo's butler was going to explode the truck, which had the final few flag smashers who had the super soldier serum inside of them. Next up we have Erin Kellyman, who was playing the Carly character, the leader of the flag smashers, who was just relentless in just trying to get her message across, and she was definitely foreshadowing the fact that she and the other super soldier serums were going to die, when she was saying that we need to get this message across even if it does cost us our lives. She was definitely the villain of this series, but this series did a really good job in showing that nothing is as black and white as it seems. Everything is in the grey area, and you could really understand where this character was coming from, even though her actions were definitely very questionable. Next up we have Danny Ramirez, who is playing the Joaquin character, the sidekick to Falcon, and in the comic books he then becomes the Falcon in the future, and he did have the first versions of the Falcon wings with him by the end of the show, so I wonder if he's going to do that in the future. Next up we have Isaiah, who was a bit of a secondary character, but what an almighty, brilliant, powerful storyline this character had. As a black man, he was being tested on by government officials as he had the super soldier serum injected inside of him, so it was a really heartbreaking storyline and a really nice arc in terms of where he was by the end of it, as he had his legacy in a plaque for all to see in the museum. Next up we have Sarah Wilson, who was Sam Wilson's sister, and I absolutely loved the fact that they were really showing the grounded reality that the superheroes have, and the Sarah Wilson character was struggling, trying to keep her business afloat, trying to keep her family alright, trying to keep the people of the location alright as well. And I just really like the interactions that you can see the Sam Wilson character having from a non-Avengers space with the Sarah Wilson character. We also have a bit of a foreshadowing with the Patriot character, who is going to play a young Avenger in the future. We also had War Machine making a little bit of an appearance as well. The Rhodey character was in the first episode, and absolutely loved the connection that they had with the other Avengers. And then finally we also had the Wakandans making a bit of an appearance as well, and really continuing the storyline that they had in terms of the Baron Zemo character was the person that killed T'Challa's father. So from a casting character's point of view, like I said, such brilliant connectivity and brilliant character growth and character journeys across Falcon and the Winter Soldier, this series. So from a visuals point of view, very similarly to WandaVision, it definitely felt very movie quality-esque. Even though it was a 6-part TV series, it definitely did feel like an extended movie, as all of the cinematography was absolutely fantastic. In particular, I absolutely loved all of the Falcon flying scenes. All of those look absolutely brilliant. He looked very angelic towards the end of the series, and all of the fighting sequences, especially with all of the flight sequences, were absolutely awesome. It was a dark and gritty series, unlike WandaVision. There were a lot of deaths happening in a very gruesome way, and it was very dark and gritty as well, with all of the power broker and the underground criminal world. And because there was super soldier serum involved as well, a lot of hand-to-hand combat. So whilst the visuals were very movie-esque, it was very different to other things that you've seen as well. So in terms of comparison, similarly to WandaVision, this series really got going from episode 4 onwards. The first 3 episodes, whilst they were really great for both shows, were a lot more set up. But from episode 4, it was just absolutely insane. Go, go, go. And Falcon and Winter Soldier was definitely no different. That being said, I do prefer WandaVision, The Runaways, Titans, The Gifted as well to Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But that being said, it is still a very powerful and unique show with, like I said, absolutely brilliant character journeys and hand-to-hand combat sequences, and it really does nicely set up Captain America 4 as well. So speaking of Captain America 4, here are my 5 predictions about what I think is going to happen in the next Captain America movie. So the first one is that I think the Thunderbolts / the Dark Avengers are going to be formed, and they are going to form the main villain / anti-hero group that Sam Wilson and the rest of the gang have to contend with. I also think Sharon Carter will be exposed, so everyone will find out that actually she's a bit of an underground power broker, secret agent, spy type figure, which I think will be really, really interesting. I think there's going to be a bigger bad, so the person that Sharon Carter was on the phone to, I think will be revealed to either be Doctor Doom or hopefully some Spider-Man villains such as Kingpin or Norman Osborn. I also think that they are finally going to reveal where Old Man Cap has been. I think it was the right decision to not feature him in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series, as it was totally about them. But hopefully we'll be able to find out where exactly this character has disappeared to in the next installment. And then also, I think the Captain America Sam Wilson character will definitely be challenged, but then he'll be able to win those people over. So we'll go on a bit of a continuation in the next film. So I cannot wait to see what's going to happen in the next installment in Captain America 4, which is going to be absolutely awesome. So overall, I have to say, I really enjoyed Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm absolutely loving the Disney Plus shows. I love that you can really find out a lot more about these different characters in so much more detail. The movies are really great in terms of putting these little glossy pieces together, but the series shows are absolutely brilliant in terms of really understanding the different characters, really getting into their headspace, really exploring self-worth and character growth and character transformations, and also seeing the wider world in terms of the other secondary and smaller characters that have made some certain appearances before, such as Sharon Carter and Baron Zemo, and finding out a lot more about them. The interconnectivity with the Wakandans and certain other characters as well was absolutely brilliant. The introduction of Isaiah and certain characters in terms of really understanding the impact of what being an Avenger has on other people as well was absolutely brilliant. And so for all of those reasons, I have to give Falcon and the Winter Soldier a solid 6.5 out of 10. I'd love to hear what you think, so please let me know in the comment section below. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in my next video.